Launching an online shop is an extremely exciting moment for your art career. It's a huge milestone, but if you want it to be as successful as possible, there are a few things that you should think about before you make that big announcement. As always, a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and there's kind of an exciting announcement that I have for you guys at the end of this one, so please stick around, okay? I promise it'll be worth it. The first thing that you need to think about before you launch your online shop is whether or not you are making products that will actually sell. I know that sounds harsh. I'm sorry, okay? I'm really sorry. But I feel like your instinct as an artist is to kind of just like throw stuff out there, like offer as many products as you can think of, like offer prints of all of your artwork. Why not? Sell everything you've ever made. Why not? But in reality, from a consumer's perspective, that can often result in an extremely overwhelming shopping experience. It's much better to have a few high quality options that you know are going to sell, that you feel really confident in. Think of it like a clothing brand, you know? You want to be like some really high quality, limited release brand like Big Bud Press. This is where I get almost all of my clothes from, by the way, rather than a company that just throws stuff at the wall and has tons of like wasted time and effort, like Shein, for example. You want to be this instead of this, okay? I promise. You really do. Because when you are making products, you are putting a ton of time and effort, and if you are holding inventory yourself, a lot of money into a release. You want to make sure that when you are designing these products and putting all of this effort in, that you are making something that will actually deliver a return for you. And that's why I think it's really valuable to really think through your products before you even make them. Think about what works really well with your audience or with other artists that offer similar art or similar products to the kind of stuff that you want to have out there. Do a little bit of market research. See what performs well for them. This could even look like asking your art friends or DMing artists that you really admire and being like, hey, like, I'm thinking about like launching an online shop. Do you have any examples, or would you be willing to share the kind of products that work really well for you in your business that would really help me and save me so much time? I'm not looking to copy you at all per se, but just gain a greater understanding of how the market really works and what consumers are interested in. This is going to vary, by the way, a ton depending on who you're talking to, but hopefully it will give you a greater understanding of like the pool of consumer interests. So what I would recommend ahead of time is, if you're thinking of making a print collection, for example, poll your audience or take a look at the Instagram or social media posts where you posted all this artwork and try to identify the art that people really responded to the most. I got the most positive comments, the most likes, the most interest, or that you just personally intuitively feel like this will really sell, people will resonate with this, that it feels very natural of a thing to have in people's homes. And go from there. Don't necessarily offer prints of literally anything you've ever made. I think that's just a waste of time. Yes, technically, putting a ton of like feelers out there could maybe work, and maybe you just genuinely don't have a great understanding of what consumers are interested in, and the feedback that you get from friends or your audience or other artists just doesn't make sense or is really contradictory. And in that case, yeah, you're gonna be operating with some level of uncertainty, but really, really try hard to distill those options. From my perspective as a consumer, if I see like 300 options on someone's website for art prints, and every single one of them looks like just totally different, like stylistically, the subject matter is really different and there's no organization to it, or even worse, if they all look identical, I feel extremely overwhelmed. Like I just don't know what to choose. I feel decision-making paralysis, like hardcore. And so for me, I just feel much more comforted when I have a smaller selection of options that are really high quality, like the best of the best. And I think as an artist, as a business owner, you should want to give your customers the best of the best. But every so often, you might be in a situation where you are trying to offer something completely different, a kind of product that no one in your niche or at your skill level has ever offered before. And if you are in that situation, you need to ask yourself long and hard, like just sincerely, not trying to put you down, whether you have any evidence or any even like inclination to believe that that product will perform well. And if it's really a shot in the dark, if you really don't know, please keep your investment low. If you are having to buy that inventory, just don't put everything on that product doing well. If you are ever really genuinely unsure of whether a product is going to perform, do pre-orders. Do some kind of like pre-ordering waitlist situation. Get an idea of the market. Market that pre-order as hard as you can and gauge consumer interest. There is nothing wrong with doing pre-orders. Lots of books do that. That's how they get some seed funding and stuff. I mean, lots of things, lots of industries do pre-orders. And if you're really unsure of the demand for that product, or if the expenses are really high, getting that pre-order is going to be really valuable information of the long-term viability financially of that particular product. If it does great, awesome. If it doesn't do great, at least now you know, and you didn't like put a loan on your house, like put a lien on your house to fund this new venture. You know what I mean? At least now you have the data that you need to be able to make an informed, financially sound decision. But before we get into the rest of the video, I want to briefly talk about another thing that could really help you run your online shop, which is Squarespace, the sponsor of this week's video. Squarespace is just fantastic. Not to spoil my announcement for later, but I recently spent quite a bit of time updating my Squarespace website. Squarespace is so much more than just a place to share your social links, your bio, and your portfolio. They have really powerful e-commerce features that make selling your art a breeze. All I had to do to create my product listings for my brand new print collection was to give each product a title, a catchy description, and upload some images. You can give your product any price you want, even set a sale price or make it into a membership if that's your style. And from there, you can add it to one or multiple categories to make it easy for your customers to find what they're looking for. And then you're good to post. It's that easy. You can drag and drop your products in whatever order you want in your online shop, creating a perfect checkerboard pattern like you see me doing here. And it's extremely customizable. I'm honestly barely scraping the surface here in this little ad read. Squarespace also, incredibly, offers some fantastic third-party extensions that make your life even easier. They'll integrate with accounting softwares like QuickBooks, let you collect and remit sales tax with plugins like TaxJar, and even partner with dropshipping companies like Printful, Printique, and my preferred manufacturer, the Squarespace, to ship and manufacture your merch or art prints. It's just really a fantastic tool. It has all of the features that you want as an artist and none of the ones that you don't, and it's just a really invaluable resource. If you want to give it a try, you can go to squarespace.com/Kelsey Rodriguez and use my code Kelsey Rodriguez for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now back to the video. The next thing that you need to think about before you launch your online shop are the expenses. The reality is this: every single category of product is going to have a different profit margin. A profit margin is basically like you have the price of the product, some of that is expenses, some of that is like the stuff that you want to actually make and profit from that, right? What percentage of this total pie is actually profit? That's what a profit margin is basically, in a nutshell. But every single category of product is going to have a different profit margin. So prints, for example, if you make them in-house and hold your own inventory, it might have a pretty decent profit margin. Prints are generally not that expensive to produce, but if you outsource to a print-on-demand company, your profit margin is going to be much lower because you're bringing another company into the mix here. They have to do their own manufacturing stuff. They have like a whole warehouses of things. Their volume is insane, but they also have to pay their own employees, the pensions, the healthcare, the marketing, all the stuff, right? That's going to really eat into the profit margin that you would have otherwise had you fulfilled that and shipped it out yourself. Generally speaking, you're going to have really great profit margins on stuff like digital products, prints that you make yourself, and originals. Those are probably going to be your really highest profit margin products, but you're probably going to want to sell stuff that's not going to have a great profit margin. The key here is to really have a wide variety of different product categories in your online shop, or at least like 2 or 3 different kinds of categories that you're offering, so that you can kind of balance things out, so that really high profit margin goods will be able to kind of equalize out the lower profit margin ones, so you're kind of just a healthier business overall. Sure, ideally you could only offer the high profit margin ones, but maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to offer apparel or mugs or whatever else you're interested in. I think that you should be able to have that option, but I just think it's really, really important to focus on profit in your business so that you can pay things like your bills, your healthcare, your website, whatever, so you can get that taken care of so that you have the time and the resources to make more art. The next thing you should think about is whether or not print on demand is right for you. You've likely already heard about print on demand. I'm not going to rehash the explanation. Basically, you have your design, right? You might send that off to a local print shop or your own printer and get things in yourself, or you could just send that file to a company and have them automatically fulfill your orders for you, both in manufacturing and the shipping. So like you make the art and then you put it on the thing, you set up your website, and then like your work is done. You have to put no extra effort in aside from marketing. Whereas if you are manufacturing or shipping prints out yourself, you're having to get the toner, the printer, the paper, the shipping stuff, the glassine bags, whatever cute little extra branding things you want to have in your packaging. And then you have to actually package the orders and go to the post office and like do all of that stuff yourself. That is a big time commitment. It's just a lot of work. You're going to have really high startup costs to do things yourself, and it's going to take up a lot of space in your apartment. Whereas a print-on-demand option is going to give you less flexibility in terms of branding, of course, but like the effort, the expenses, the startup costs, way lower, right? That being said, I do think you have much more control over the quality and the branding and the presentation when you do things yourself. They're 2 equally good options. They're just really different, and you need to figure out which one is actually right for you. You could go the route of fulfilling some things but not others. Like maybe you want to make your own prints in-house for quality control reasons, but you want to offer like t-shirts or mugs that you could not feasibly make in-house, right? So you're going to outsource that. Maybe you have some kind of balance, but I think at the end of the day, it's just a decision that you have to make for yourself. There are definitely pros and cons to each version. For me personally, I just don't live in that large of an apartment, and I personally hate the idea of packaging potentially hundreds of orders every month or every week, God forbid, and just having to spend hours and hours of my life doing that and going to the post office and interacting with strangers, and the idea of having to do that is just so aversive to me that I will do anything to not have to do that. So for me, print on demand is just the better option. I think for me, just the idea of not having to put in that much work, being able to reclaim more of my time for my art and making YouTube videos and stuff is just really appealing to me. I don't want the success of my business to translate into like an exponentially increased workload. And I think the reality of having a really successful online shop, getting hundreds of orders where you are doing everything in-house, means that like you have to put in more effort for each additional unit of thing that you sell. Whereas print on demand means that you put in the effort in once, there's some maintenance cost, but like your effort is constant. Whereas when you're doing things yourself, it's just like this, and sometimes it's just exponential. And that can be really stressful. I feel like print on demand in general tends to have this really negative connotation because it's associated with like lots of drop shipping, scammy kinds of business models. But in reality, there are plenty of like extremely professional companies that I will list right now for you if you want to check them out, that do print on demand for artists, for like artisans, craftspeople. And that's the company that I would recommend that you partner with, just because you want to deliver, again, quality products to your customers. Like, your reputation will precede you if you consistently offer really high quality goods, and that's what I want to have for you. Take the art world by storm. Like, take Comic-Con and conventions and just everything by storm. And having a reputation for really high quality products, really amazing packaging or art or whatever you're offering is the way to do it. And the very last things that you should think about before you launch your online shop are the systems or the tools, the software, the equipment that you can invest in to make your life easier. So a part of having a business is dealing with taxes and stuff, right? I know, I can like feel you shaking with anxiety already. Taxes are terrifying, but there are tools out there that can make your life easier. Stuff that can collect sales tax automatically and remit that for you. Stuff that just like eliminates all of that anxiety. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about when I'm saying systems that will make your life easier. Investing in accounting software, sales tax plugins, whatever, that stuff you should really think long and hard about before you launch your online shop. Having those systems in place before you launch will make your life just so much easier. Things like having a PO box to have on your business labels, your shipping labels for your return address so you don't dox yourself. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about that will make your life easier. The last thing that you want is some internet person tracking you down. If you are really interested in like shipping things out yourself and manufacturing and packaging and all that stuff yourself, you should be thinking about a label printer. Or if you're taking things to the post office, you don't have a car, maybe you want some kind of cart with wheels, something like that. Just generally investing in stuff that will make your life easier. Because like having an online shop is just so much work. It is so stressful, and figuring out literally anything that you can do to take some stuff off your plate will pay off so hard in the long run. That, for me at least, was the biggest like driving reason why I was so interested in print on demand. I really wanted to like success and future proof my business model, and doing print on demand from the get-go meant that I would never have to worry about like a storage locker or hiring someone just to pack stuff for me, or like having to buy a car because suddenly I'm taking hundreds of orders to the post office. Like that kind of thing, it's just so aversive to me. It just sounds like so much work, and I'm not interested. I don't want to do that. So print on demand, having some kind of like sales tax plugin, all of that stuff just really makes my life so much easier. I really hope that you consider all of these things before you launch your online shop. And the exciting announcement that you have waited all of this video for was that I just launched my own online shop. I've had an online shop, yes, for years now, for digital products and the occasional print, but I've just done a massive shop update. Like truly insane. I've not listed a ton of stuff. Like I haven't listed hundreds of products, but a lot of time and care and consideration has gone into designing, painting, and crafting the stuff that I'm currently selling on my online shop. And I am so excited. I really hope that you guys like the prints that I'm now offering, and I hope that you check it out. I will link my online shop in the description, and I hope you get a print if you want. No pressure, but like you could. I don't know. There are also probably going to be some videos around if you wanted to watch something else, or subscribe. You can do that too. I also offer live office hours twice a month actually on my Discord server for premium members, so you could check out that too if you wanted. You have options. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.